Happy Monday morning, everybody. Time to jumpstart. Think of like car. It's now Jade. Like injecting, what are those things? Yeah, the sparks into you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, too. I'm excited to chat with everybody about efficiency. And this is another thing, Ted, that might seem like one of those goals, like balance that we spoke about last week. But for you, I mean, I feel like you have to juggle a lot of people and a lot of different clients. And like we talk about like the work balance and, home life. And then as well, like the thing that you and I both have, and I think a lot of writers have, which is your work is in your home on top of that. So that's a whole nother layer to this. So any advice for being more efficient, any tips for if people are having maybe struggling working from home, any boundaries and things that you set up to make your life easier and more efficient?
Wow. We could take this in 10 different directions, right? But when you first started using the word efficient, it's interesting because I probably deal with people talking about how they're inefficient to get them to be more efficient. I mean, that would probably be the path that I take often with clients with, they feel like they're not as efficient as they want to be. And then I'm peeling back in all ways, how are all the ways that you're inefficient, right? And I think that's what maybe we could focus on today. Well, speaking of the word focus, I think focus is a word. Like if you leave this call listening to us today, I think focus would be one because, I mean, there's different layers of efficiency, right? Like there's this idea that, you and I are in a similar job and you can get something done faster than me.
Speed.
There's like that to me, maybe you're smarter than me, or maybe you're better in this skill than me, or you type faster than me. Like that's not the efficiency, at least that I think we're talking about today.
Because there you might be less, the person that takes shorter might be less detail orientated, and then really are they efficient? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I don't know if that's it. I think that when we do talk about this, and this is kind of layering on to the last couple of weeks that we've talked about, are we efficient with our time, which leads me to that word focus. So when I peel somebody back and we're talking about efficiency, if I'm talking about a team, I can tell you the main culprit of inefficiency is not that we're not an efficient group. We don't know how to, we know how to get tasks done. The main culprit is lack of communication. It's not that we're an inefficient group. It's that we're not having the right conversations to move the right stuff. Therefore, everybody's in their separate corners trying to get stuff done. Therefore, we have an inefficient business unit, right? But you got to get to why the inefficiency things. We talked about it a little bit last week. I find that most people are not efficient or inefficient in their time trying to get stuff done in the day because they're not focused, right? You said it at the end of our last call, like all the things that we consume, we think we can do this and that, and we think we can do this. And so there's different words that we can interplay here, right? But I do believe that we have to first study why we're inefficient. And what are we really talking about? What's the root cause of us not getting things done at the speed that we want to, or we're not getting tasks moved? We said we're going to get this done by tomorrow, and it took us 2 extra days. I think sometimes it's the lack of focus. And so sometimes I tell people the quickest way to become more efficient is be where your feet are. Just be where your feet are, right? And what the hell do you mean by that? I'm just saying, like, we could talk about it. You talked about the personal stuff last week or whatever, whatever. If you're with your children, be with your children. If you're trying to get a task done, get it done. You often reference the, our AWAI's president talks about that 80-20 rule. 80% of the company and 20% are the ones getting it done. I'd like for our listeners today to think about it in their own world. I want you to think about how you spend 20% of your time getting stuff done. I very much live in that world. I made it out. I do not want to be the person that works 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I want to be absolutely efficient. My word that I use is not efficient, impactful, right? In the time that I share with somebody. It's not about spending an hour with somebody. What can I get done in 15 minutes with somebody that absolutely is going to have an impact on them today?
Yeah. And I love that be where your feet are, because like I think sometimes an efficiency killer is any sort of notifications. the way that they run our world and the way that they operate makes it feel like it's an immediate attention needing something, right? So like so often when somebody on my team comes to me and they're like, can't get this project done because I can't focus on it because there's so much going on. I was like, okay, well, do you need to get this done or do you need to focus on those other things that are happening? No, I need to get this done. Okay, I, as your manager, I'm giving you permission to shut down your IM chat. So no, if somebody needs you, they don't need you because this is the emergency. Shut down your emails. When you say be where your feet are, whenever we are on these calls, I shut down all that stuff because I don't want any distractions, right? My phone, just for my life efficiency, has no notifications. Like it will tell me if a text message comes in because that's where my husband and family communicate with me, but no like Facebook notifications or Instagram, not even email, none of that comes to my phone. And it allows you to focus so much clearer on where you are at that moment.
It's true. And we all have those, right? We're all, the notifications come in many different ways.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So I think what we're talking about today, gang, is focus, right?
Yes,
and like you said, like you don't need all these notifications going on and all the rest of that. But if you're sitting down to get something done, pay attention to that one thing, focus on it and get it done, become more efficient. The example that I used with the team, saying the team's inefficient, oftentimes, as I said, I peel it back and I realize we're not having the right conversations to get to where we need to put focus and time. And therefore we're not efficient in getting the right stuff out because you got a bunch of people. I want you to think about that as it relates to self. Like, are you somebody that's half getting that done and then going on to the next thing and then going back to this? Or are you saying, hey, I deem these two things, we've talked about this before, I deem these things most critically important to get done, and I'm knocking them out first before I start being all scattered brain and inefficient in the day, because we all will be that in the day. But if I got those two critically things important, those two things to the business done in the morning or whenever, now I've moved the chains in the right direction.
Yeah,
you know,
that we're doing some of that focus, and we bring up the word intention a lot, intentionally, and getting and prioritizing it for yourself and being firm on that. And something else we've discussed, putting boundaries around that, I think those are very important things for efficiency. So there, we cured the lack of efficiency.
Well, yeah, you know, look, we could talk about setting up processes. We could talk about how you set your office up. Do you keep a schedule? You know, there's a thing out there that I coach a lot of people on, time blocking. You know, if you're not familiar with time blocking is, it just means that you are setting certain times of the day for certain activities. It could be 15 minutes or it could be 90 minutes. And to Jade's point, the world around you shuts down barring an emergency, and you've time blocked that time. And that could be anything from something very specific that you're going to write to a 30-minute walk to whatever, but you keep that time. And so there's plenty of things like that that will build efficiencies into your day. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the focus and you don't have the wherewithal to shut down the notifications, which goes into the whole deeper end of the pool. Like, part of the reason we check our notifications is because we want to feel valued, or we feel insecure that we can't miss something, that if we don't respond to somebody right away, they're going to that all creates inefficiencies, which is the emotional part of this.
We're switching that off.
Yeah.
trying to.
Well, we talked about it, the client thing. I don't want to belabor the point, but we talked about getting clients, 3 weeks ago, by slowing down and answering questions. If I'm in the middle of something that I've time blocked to get done, and we deemed it important, and then all of a sudden I get a notification from a client or a potential client, what's the average person do?
Up to that.
They jump to it. And what we're proposing today is that you don't.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it plays into way back, like 3-4 weeks ago, professionalism. I think it deems you as a professional if you are getting the thing done and getting it done in time and keeping, trust again, that promise. And I can tell you, if you're looking at this through the lens of a writer, whatever you're delivering, there is a domino effect of people behind you that are banking on you being efficient and get that done and not mess up the schedule that follows you. So that's what keeps me efficient. I would say the wherewithal to know that there's like 10 people that are waiting for this thing after me. That'll also get it done really quick. Awesome, Ted. Well, we will see everybody next week, and thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everybody.